Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Trades Discord channel, completely free to join. You can find the link to that in the description below, and also at the top of the chat. Chat with other traders, chat with myself. I share ideas there, what I'm looking at, so do other people. Of course, you can join in as well. And of course, you can find out a lot more information about Elevating Traders if you are interested. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone's well. As always, we'll go for USD side of things first. Take a look at the dollar, USD majors, gold, silver. Go through some indices as well. Of course, we'll go through some requests. Any particular time frames, let me know. What's up, LFTJ? Hope you're well. I will get to Euro Aussie. As I said, I'll go through USD pairs first, and I'll take a look at Euro Aussie for you as well. What's up, Dark Sean? Welcome to the stream. It's with the power of spoofing on GJ. Price action didn't make sense since the volume was strong. Check the order for it. Okay. Someone really wanted the price to shoot up. Oh, okay. So there's a lot of buying pressure, I presume. I mean, the yen pairs have been very, very bullish since we last spoke. All the yen pairs, a lot of upside. But yeah, we'll definitely go through some yen pairs because they are piquing my interest. A few of them, dollar yen looks really interesting. CHF, JPY, pound yen as well, euro yen. Those four in particular, I'm interested to see what they do because we've had some impressive retracements coming to some areas where we could be forming some lower highs and making moves back down again. So I'm interested. Not quite ready yet for me to jump into any positions, and I'll go over what I'm looking at, but there is some interesting moves on the yen pairs. What's up, Ahmed? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. So yeah, we'll go through USD pairs first, then we'll take a look at some of the other pairs which you guys are looking at. So in terms of the dollar, we've had a bit of a move to the downside. So as I've been saying, I'm pretty bearish kind of intraday, intra-week for dollar. In terms of the overall trend, in terms of the weekly chart, daily chart, the market is still trending to the upside. We're still trading above major resistance here. And we still very much could be on our way to the upside. You can see the daily chart still trend to the upside as well. Last significant low in the market was down here. Price hasn't gone and broken structure, hasn't invalidated that structure yet. So technically speaking, this could just be a large correction for us to continue higher, and which is something I'm still looking at with the dollar until I start to see some strong evidence otherwise. So still bullish overall. However, as I've been explaining the past few days, I'll be looking for some downside, treating this move here as more of a correction of this bearish move. Really strong push to the upside. I was actually at that point expecting price to go and take out the highs down the left and see some new highs, but we formed a lower high and we came crashing back down very impulsively. So looking at how price is moving there, very strong push to the upside, followed by a very strong push back to the downside. That is a big warning sign for the buyers. Impulse movement to the upside, followed by impulse back down. Not a healthy sign of trend continuation. You want to see impulsive moves followed by corrective moves, followed by another impulsive move. That's your textbook healthy trend, healthy trending market. If price is impulsing one way and impulsing back the other, it's a sign that we're struggling to sustain that pressure, and price has hit some big levels, which it's rejecting. And that's exactly what happened here for dollar, and we come crashing back down. So I'm looking to see if price can come back and retest the low here at 106.995. This is what I'm looking at as a correction of that bearish leg. So I'm looking for a push back down into that level. As I said in the higher time frames, we well could just see a retest, a double bottom, maybe price breaks through the low slightly, and then we have a really big move to the upside as the overall trend for dollar is still very bullish, and we're still respecting major support on the higher time frames, which we very much could bounce from. So overall direction is still up, even though it's not the cleanest trend anymore. We're getting a bit more sideways, a bit more choppy. But in terms of the laws of market structure, which is something I abide by, the market is still respecting that. So I would still have that overall bullish bias, but I am looking at some downside there for the dollar. So that's what I've been looking for the past 2-3 days. Well, since we had that big drop there last week, really. So Euro USD, I've been looking for a similar move, but it just hasn't been as clean. We've seen a really steep correction to the downside here, so I haven't really been favoring the same move for Euro. What I have said for Euro USD was if price does break past the high here, I think there's a good chance price does make it to the high up there. So if we do see a break past this swing point, corrections and pullbacks, maybe to retest the prior high, could look really good on an intraday level to trade it back to the high there at 1.05273. Again, the exact same situation with the dollar is present here with euro, still very much in a bearish trend. This is our last major swing high, which gave us this low. Market still respecting that, so essentially it still do have a bearish bias. However, again, really strong move to the downside, of course, with that gap. Price created a very strong low, and I'm looking at this as a pullback of that bullish move. So I do have somewhat of a bullish bias for euro. It's a bit more choppy. It's not looking as great, but I do expect to see some upside. And in terms of actually buying it, I would avoid getting involved here. This is still an area of supply, that we could very much still sell off from here. So this is still bearish territory, so I'd watch out for that. In fact, if you're looking to sell euro, this is actually a good place for that. But if you're looking to buy, you do want to see price break structure first, and then look for some opportunities on the other side of that level. Any buys here could play out, of course, but it's just a bit more aggressive since you're buying into resistance, buying to supply, and structure is not really looking that great at the moment. In terms of pound USD, I do have a position on this one. I'm currently long on pound USD. I hopped into a trade yesterday on this 4-hour candle close on the retest of that low, along with the trendline confluence there as well. But again, the idea with pound USD is I'm looking to see if I can catch another higher low, one over there, second there, third over there, potentially. Of course, not confirmed yet, but that's the idea about the trade. I'm looking to anticipate the higher low forming and targets back pretty much at the high there. Now, this is not really a longer term swing trade or a longer term position where I expect pound USD to go for a long time. Like I said, USD, I'm still overall bullish on that market, but I am expecting a temporary move to the downside. And likewise with pound USD, the fact we failed at the lows here. The start of the week, I said if we do see a nice break, there could be some really nice shorts back into this low and potentially that low as well, but we didn't get that. We saw a really strong rejection of that level, big wick to the downside, followed by a very impressive, strong 4-hour candle closure. So I hopped into position, just looking for a shorter term trade back to the high. I mean, I say shorter term, still about 150 pips to the high there, but in terms of the length of the trade anyway, just looking for a trade back to the swing high, and I'll probably just close the trade completely. Not a position which I'll be looking to try and trail or try and look for too much, since the overall structure is still pretty bearish. So this is more of a counter trend position. So I have to be careful with that bias because at any point we could very much continue back down. So as we come back to the high, that's why we're looking to take my profits, but I am looking for a push back to 1.254 for pound USD. In terms of dollar CAD, still looking for shorts for this one. Again, still teasing the break of this level here. We haven't really made that happen yet. We've tested it a few times, but looks like price is still holding onto support pretty well. Again, I'm expecting a pretty big move to the downside. I'm looking at this kind of structure here as a bit of a top for the trend. So again, really big move to the upside for USD CADs in September. And I'm looking at this as potentially a bit of a top. Again, not necessarily a top, but more of a temporary top for the market. We might have a bit of a pullback. The trend may still be to the upside, but I'm looking for a bit of a dip since we've had such a strong shift of momentum to the downside as we kind of fake the high of the range here. And of course, we've crashed into a massive weekly level as well. So I'm looking to anticipate a bit of a reaction from that level as well. Massive resistance a couple times in the weekly chart. As you can see, we're back in that same area again. So expecting to see a pretty big sell from this level. And we've already seen signs of that happening. So at the moment, in terms of entries, as I've been saying, either we get the break and retest of the current level of support. So we can see price break through this and we look for some pullbacks afterwards and look for some shorts, or price pushes back to the high of the range where, again, I'll be looking for a similar trade, again, for a similar move as well, just to be a higher price, so a better entry, stop loss, very much above the level. We'll see what type of entries we can get there. And yeah, at least looking to target the low of the range, but I will be anticipating price to break out, see if I can catch the bigger move. And the benefit of entering up here, should we catch the breakout, you can always look for re-entries and add to the trade and the retest of the low as well. So your entries there, really taking advantage of that sell. But of course, we can speak a lot more on that when the setups actually start to form. at the moment, we're still patiently waiting. So yeah, that's kind of my look on my outlook on dollar CAD. In terms of Aussie dollar, yep, still pretty much sideways, but still trading at really impressive support. So again, I'm looking at this as potentially a bit of a temporary bottom for the market as well, similar to dollar CAD, temporary top there, temporary bottom, where we could see some upside. I'm looking for us to go and break the highs here first before looking for any buying opportunities, because I want to see that sign that says, okay, buyers are back in control, and now we can look for pullbacks of that, and more upside is likely to follow. At the moment, we've broken structure to the upside, broken structure to the downside. So overall, the market doesn't really know what it's doing either. It's just pretty much flat. So I don't really want to trade it within the range. I want to see price show intent outside of it. Then look for pullbacks, whether it's the retest of the high or maybe the retest of this consolidation. Again, we'll get a feel for that when the setup actually does start to shape up and does start to form. But at the moment, Aussie dollar very, very flat. So not really interested in trading price at all right now. And in terms of New Zealand dollar, pretty much the same situation, which is another consolidating market. Not really interested in trading inside the middle of the range here. Equal highs, equal lows. Again, looking for price to make that move to the upside. Show me that, okay, the buyers are back in control. And then look for pullbacks. And then upside from there will be the idea. Whether it's the retest of the high or the retest of maybe some lows down here. Again, I'm not too sure. We need the setup to form first before I do start picking and choosing which areas I'm looking to buy from. But again, similar situation on the daily chart. We've come into a major swing low here on the left and just essentially looking for a bounce from that area. So I do have a bullish bias for New Zealand dollar despite the trend being down, simply because I'm looking for a slightly bigger pullback. In terms of gold, this one has had a bit of a correction. Still pretty bullish on gold, but I do think we're coming back to a nice area where we can start to look for some entries. So lovely resistance here on the 4-hour chart. And if I drop to the hourly, probably see it a little bit better. So as we can see those prior highs once, twice, then we had a really nice breakthrough. If gold would kind of spike through this, I feel like that could be a really nice entry to take it back to the high, which is back at 29.40, and a really healthy target there for gold, risk reward wise as well. We've got 29.50 just above us, a bit of a psychological level to keep in mind. But yeah, overall gold still very bullish, still seeing consistent higher highs and higher lows. The trend has been pretty phenomenal, to be honest. Relentless, just higher low after higher low without really looking to break structure. And we've been so consistent with that and pretty much looking to see if we can expect that to continue. Of course, at some point, gold will have a bigger pullback. It's been a pretty big move. So something like this is expected to happen with gold in the next, few days or however. Yeah, gold can be very exponential at times, as we can see previously, but we do expect to see a bigger pullback shortly, maybe to come back and retest the high there or retest the highs here. We'll have to wait and see. So that pullback will come, but at the moment, there is no sign of that happening just yet. So still very bullish on gold, expecting more upside. And we do have a really nice level of resistance, which price is just coming back to retest at the moment. So yeah, still very bullish on gold, looking for more upside. And in terms of silver, yeah, silver's been a bit more awkward, to be fair. I've looked for a slightly bigger pullback with silver before getting into any buys. And if price does have one more drop, I feel like I probably will get the entries I'm looking for. As I've been saying yesterday for silver, nice area of confidence in this area. Resistance there along with the trend line as well, similar to the setup I had on pound USD. If we could spike a little bit lower, I'd like that. The only reason why I'm looking for a slightly deeper correction for silver is because of that aggressive wick we had on Friday. Price looked as if it was going to just break the high and continue, but I had a really aggressive wick rejection there, so that's kind of put me off the trade a little bit. I don't want to buy too close into that. So if you can pull away, find some more buyers, test some stronger areas of confluence, I'll be more happy with the buy. Again, the way I see silver right now is that we're pretty consistent with all these high lows. So as long as price doesn't go and break structure, that does keep me still bullish. So this is really my confluence and where it lies. If we don't see that happen, then I'll simply look for the next pullback. So if we do go and break the highs there again, then I'll be a lot more confident with the buys there as well, because we'll be kind of really breaking away from resistance here on the left. And again, expecting a longer term move back to the highs at 34.852. So very bullish on silver, very bullish on gold still. Just looking for a slightly bigger retracement for silver before finding any entries. Gold looks like a nice intraday setup, about to set up there, so keep an eye on that. And as I said, with USD, looking for some weakness, but overall I am still bullish. So we'll see how long that bias does last. And of course, that could change at any time. I'm not going to be stubborn. If things show me signs of structure changing or momentum shifting, I will look to change that bias. But yeah, that's more or less where I am with USD. We'll go through Euro, Aussie, Pound, Yen. Where was I? What's up, Holy? Welcome to the stream. Strange I still have a bullish bias on UJ since last week. Okay. I mean, again, the long-term move for UJ is still, in terms of the market structure, still pointing up, but I'm looking for some more counter trend sells for dollar yen, anticipating it to then follow what the other yen pairs might do. But of course, we'll see what happens. I'll go over UJ, show you my bias, show what I'm looking at as well for that one. What's up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Welcome back. Can anyone push USD CAD down? I wonder. Just need a big enough position, I guess. But yeah, USD CAD taking its time. So that support is going to do what it wants to do. It's either going to respect support and bounce up, or it's going to break through. As a trader, we just got to wait our turn. Looking for 70 pip moves only, so for me, easier to find. Okay. Overall sell, but my daily is saying temporary buy before major reversal. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking at for pound USD as well. Close used to kind of right because weekly same buy. Okay, because the higher time frames is still bullish. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'm pretty much same situation with pound USD as well. I'm in the long, but again, I'm not looking to take this too far. I'm just looking to see if we can work our way back to the high where we came from, because the way I see price right now is that we're still very much kind of in this channel here with these higher lows and those higher highs. So the plan is kind of looking to anticipate another bounce at the lower end of that channel, whilst we're retesting support as well, and see if I can trade it back to the high. But this is no longer term swing trade. Again, a lot of my trades, I would have an idea of where I'm expecting price to go for the next few weeks potentially. This is more of a trade that I'm looking just to take my profit back at the high and call it a day. If we do go further, we go further, but I don't really have much on the higher time frames or much analysis that does favor a longer term move right now for pound USD. So I'll look to call it a day at the high. But overall, the trend is still very much down, still seeing momentum to the downside. So it could be a situation where we push back to the high and we have a really aggressive sell. In that case, I'll probably be looking for entries to take pound USD back down again, and looking to target those lows, because structure is still with the bears. So this is more of a counter trend position, slightly bit more aggressive, but I fit the plan well. Confidence was good, entry was strong, so I did jump into the position. But of course, I'm well aware that the bigger move still might be to the downside, and kind of still looking at that move as well. So if we can see a push to the upside into that level, that'd be great, and then I can start looking for some shorts again. In terms of Euro Aussie, LFTJ mentioned this one. What was your comment earlier? Breaking to the upside or respecting? Is it breaking to the upside or respecting the resistance zone for a sell? Okay. So yeah, I mean, in terms of that candle closure, that's a very strong candle closure. In my book, it looks like it's trying to break above. For me to anticipate this as a rejection for a sell, I need to see a very, very strong shift in momentum from the sellers in terms of either some wicks to the upside, aggressive wicks, and a strong candle closure. That will tell me, okay, we are rejecting for a sell. At the moment, there's a lot of momentum with the buyers right now, and that could very much take us through this level and a lot further. So, of course, in terms to answer your question, we'll only know when we do know, in terms of either prices breaking through the level or we do see really strong rejection. Then I can tell you, yeah, price is rejecting the level for a sell. At the moment, we just had a very strong candle closure on the 4-hour chart into the level. So we need to see how price develops before being more confident in terms of if price is breaking through or if this just is price coming back to respect it. But what I can say is that there's a very strong candle. So for price to respect this level, for me to be confident in shorting from this level, I need to see a really aggressive sell signal, not very, not like a small bearish engulfing candle. That doesn't really mean much. It needs to be, with context of the market, and has a very strong push. So I need to see equally a strong rejection on the way back down to convince me of a sell. So yeah, I wouldn't say jump into any sells right now. I wouldn't necessarily jump into any buys just yet. But if you do see another candle breaking through, then of course you've got your answer there. Price is still respecting support. I would look at this as more of a fake out of the level actually, and there could be some really nice pullbacks to retest the zone and actually take advantage of that fake out and possibly just ride the range, because we got equal lows down there, potentially kind of equal highs here, but we might have missed the high just about, or did we tag it? Yeah, just about. And you've got equal highs up there, so potentially could see a swing all the way back to 1.68 potentially. So there is a lot of mileage to the upside, or even if you're looking for 50% of the range, probably roughly around the high there, that looks like a nice target to have as well. So yeah, I'd wait for some follow through, or some really strong rejection before kind of calling it what it is. But an interesting setup does look like it's starting to build there. So yeah, hopefully that made sense on Euro Aussie. Okay, so I'll go through GJ. We'll take a look at that one on the 5 minutes. Yeah, the yen pairs are looking pretty interesting. Yep, I'll go through GJ and dollar yen as well, Ahmed. No problem. Again, any requests, let me know. Of course, any specific timeframes, let me know as well. And I will take a look. But yeah, in terms of pound yen on the 5 minute, then I'll take a look at it on the higher timeframes as well. This one has been very bullish since we last spoke. I believe we were trading around. Oh, it's been very bullish since we last spoke. At least on the 5 minute chart. Anyway, we were trading around here, I believe, around here somewhere. So price has just been on a mission since we last looked at it on the 5 minute chart. But yeah, very impressive candles to the upside. We're coming to an area where, again, we could look for some sells, and I'm interested for another lower high to form, because, again, I still do have that longer term bias for GJ for a push back to the wick low here. That's still the direction I'm looking to trade in. Now that we have seen a meaningful move to the upside, we're coming to an area which, again, we could start to form a lower high from and see the next swing to the downside. So that's really what I'm interested here with pound yen. Darkshon, what are you looking to do on the 5 minute chart? Completely forgot. Yeah, let me know what you're looking to do on the 5 minute chart. But at the moment, the 5 minutes still looks very, very bullish to me. So I would only be looking to buy, really. I'd love to see a retest of the low here, because there's clearly some strength in this support area. Once there, twice there. If you could push into this area, maybe even wick through, I feel like that would be a nice place for a buy. Finding entries, stops in that area. Very impressive bullish swing there to the upside as well. And I would expect to see a push back to the highs there. There's a lot of bullish momentum right now with pound yen in the 5 minute chart. Aggressive push down. It could form a bit of a head and shoulder pattern, but I would wait for that right shoulder to form and a strong break of the neckline. Then I'll start looking for some shorts. In this situation, I wouldn't try and look to short the right shoulder because of how aggressive the trend has been in the 5 minute chart. Of course, it could be a reversal for price to push down, but I'd rather try and catch the next lower high, which might set up during the New York session, because the 5 minute chart does play out pretty quickly. So we might see that happen over a short space of time. Yeah, I'd wait for that neckline to break and then look for the next lower high. So I've got 1, 2, and then 3, and that's what I anticipate for a sell. In terms of the buys, if you're looking to continue the trend and see if you can swing it back to the high, I would focus my efforts down at the low here, kind of away from the noise, back at some really strong support where we can swing it to the upside. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there for pound yen in the 5 minute chart. But in terms of the 4 hour chart, which of course is where I'm more interested in, again, the idea is that we've had a bearish swing, create that low, lower high, lower low. So the plan is to look for another lower high. Yesterday, I mentioned a couple of areas where I do like the shorts from. So I said I like the retest of the low here, which kind of lines up alongside the 50. And I also like this supply area up here, which is around the 0.786. So those are the two areas I'm looking at. Looks like price is breaking above the first area. So I wonder if we will continue. And if we do, then around 192.5 is where I'll be interested in some shorts. And that's why I'll look for my entries to take it back down right into the same low. But as I've said, I do expect us to go a lot further, so I will be leaving positions to run. But that first area didn't provide much defense there. Price had a very strong candle close. Was that during the night? Yeah, very strong candle close to the upside. So 192.5 looks a bit more realistic in terms of where we could go and potentially find that next sell. But again, the idea is that we form these highs here. So I don't want to see price break structure. So this is the last meaningful lower high that gave us that low. Broke through this low here. So I don't want to see price break this area. As long as we respect that area, I would expect pound yen to eventually fall over back to the lows. If you do go break through that area, then I'm looking for a push back to the highs up here at 199.7. And then that's the next area I'll be looking for a sell. And again, I'll still be expecting the same move, but just a lot higher up. So this high needs to stay intact. If it does break, then 199.7 is where I'm expecting price to go. But at the moment, of course, we haven't broken through the highs, so not going to speak too much about that just yet. More focused just about trying to catch that lower high and waiting for the necessary confirmations before jumping into a trade. But yeah, my focus is more around 192.5 now, expecting a big push down. In terms of dollar yen, okay, you're in a sell from 191.530. And the drop missed my target by 3 pips. Damn, that is unfortunate. Close the trade for 50. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, I mean, it would make sense to try and hold the trade. To go and get those extra 3 pips if it has kind of shown a bit of a reversal from there as well. It wouldn't really make too much sense. Why risk giving back all those profits just for 3 extra pips? Might as well just close the trade. But yeah, that is unfortunate. But hey, still profit 50 pips, still a decent trade, and I'm pretty sure you have a 20 pip stop loss, so decent risk reward in that position as well. But anyway, in terms of dollar yen, I'm still pretty bearish on this one as well, looking for a lot more downside for UJ. However, this one still does have some bullish structure, which isn't allowing me to look for necessarily a longer term move like I'm looking for pound yen, Swiss yen, euro yen. I'm not necessarily looking for that longer term move just yet because we still do have this bullish structure at play. And I still wonder, is price coming back to respect this area to potentially continue in its next wave back to highs here and then potentially back to highs there as well. So the market structure in the daily chart is still very bullish. However, 4-hour time frame does have some really nice bearish structure, which I'm looking to trade. Of course, we've got the high over there. Market made another lower high there, another one there as well, another one there as well too. So in my view, I'm looking to try and catch the next lower high. Also in the back of my mind, I do have a really bearish bias across the board with the yen pairs. So, and of course, dollar yen is a yen pair. It's going to move similar to them. Of course, it is partnered with the USD and that will play its part. But generally speaking, if you look at correlation between yen pairs, most of them do the same thing most of the time. So I'm expecting this one to follow that longer term bias as well. However, we do need to go and take out these lows first before I will become a lot more confident with that longer term short bias. So if I do get some shorts from here, I'm only looking to trade it back down to the low. I may leave some positions to run depending how we're looking. But I do run the risk of price very much turning against me and respecting that low. So I may not. It depends how we're looking. If we're shooting to the downside with a lot of force, I'll leave some to run. If it was more of a slow grind to the downside, I'll probably just call it a day and take the profits. But yeah, in terms of an area of interest, this is definitely one. I'm looking for entries in this area. Nothing there quite yet in terms of entries. Again, I'm more looking at the 4-hour time frame to enter a trade. So I'm waiting for development on that time frame. See if we can respect the high. Maybe get a nice rejection. There's some trend line confluence here as well. If I connect the highs there too. So it would be nice to get a retest of that trend line along with the zone and some shorts back into the low at 151. But this is really the trade I'm looking at. Still early doors, but we're in a nice area for a short, really strong break to the downside. And this is the first time price is coming back to retest it, at least in the 4-hour chart. So that tells me there's a good chance price at least will have a reaction. Again, whether it gets back to this low or not, that's a different question, but there's a good chance for a reaction, especially when we break through areas with a lot of momentum and we come back for the first retest, which is what price is doing now. So yeah, interested in some shorts there for dollar yen. Again, long term, I do think we will push the downside, but we've still got this low to contend with, which could still very much give us another continuation of that trend back to the high. So being careful of that. And if you do actually go and break to the upside through this area of confluence, and especially if we take up the high there, then yeah, I would be looking at that move back to the high again. So yeah, that's really where I'm at with dollar yen. Still pretty bearish, but nothing quite just yet. But that's what we've had with the yen pairs. A lot of upside in the past 24 hours. So I'm wondering, are we going to form a lower high now? Just have to be patient and wait and see. Pound NZ just closed for 80 pips. The reverse coming soon. Okay, we'll take a look at pound NZD. I'll go through the rest of the yen pairs as well whilst I'm on the topic. I'll just go through pound NZD quickly first. On the H4 USJ point downtrend line, managed to catch USJ point around 151.4. Okay, nice. Can either take the TP or hold if it can break the downwards trend line. $151.4. Okay, so you're in some buys from down here. 0.4 something. So you're in some entries down there. Okay. So you're looking to either take profit or try and hold for us to break the same trend line. Okay. So yeah, I mean, manage that how you want to manage that. Okay, you got trading your stop. Yeah. So the idea is that you're looking to trade your stop along the way. If it does break through the trend line, great. You're looking to continue that trade. If it does reject the trend line, I suppose you're looking to close the trade or just let it go and hit your trading stop. But either which way, it looks like you do have like a nice plan for that position. Okay, so I will go through pound NZD quickly, then we'll go through some of the yen pairs. What's up, Darren? Welcome to the stream. Okay, I'll quickly go through oil as well. Go through pound NZD and oil, then just go through the yen pairs together. But yeah, pound NZD, you said you got out for 80 pips on this one. Nice push to the upside. Very, very strong double bottom here. So yeah, now coming into this area, this is where I would be a little bit skeptical of maybe a lower high forming, because we did go and break structure here on the left. Very strong move to the downside, and now price is back in the zone. But you might start to struggle and come back down. I do think we can still see a push back to the lows here, despite that aggressive move. But we do need to start seeing some signs of reversal, because at the moment there's still a lot of momentum in the market. However, we're at an area where we could start to put another lower high in and potentially fall over. So I'm not really looking to short pound NZD. It's not really crystal clear in terms of the opportunity. Again, the overall trend is still up, so it would be counter trend if I do short. And it's not really a clear-cut pullback as well. I don't like the fact that we did this double bottom here. It's a very aggressive double bottom. If it was more of like a corrective pullback, that might interest me. But because of the way we formed this wick here, that's definitely put me off the pullback, and it's been pretty aggressive as well. So we're in an area where we could sell off, but we need to wait for that development to happen. Wicks, rejection, lower highs, bearish engulfing candles. And then there could be some nice shorts, but at the moment, it's still pretty bullish. So I would keep an eye for that. But really nice trade there, Holy One. In terms of oil, I'm pretty sure we've had a pretty bullish move, haven't we? Yeah, really strong reaction to the upside. I still think sales look good with this one, despite the bullish move and despite how corrective we've been. I did mention last week that if you're looking to get involved with oil, this is a nice area around 74. Should we spike into that? I think that's still a nice place for a short. This is like the last meaningful high for oil, which gave us this low. So in my book, as long as price doesn't break through the high there, that keeps me in a bearish bias, and I would be looking for price to get right back at this low here, and potentially further as well. I still do have a higher time frame bearish bias for oil. If I go to the weekly chart, you can see the numerous lower highs price has been creating. One over there, second there, third there, potentially a fourth. So I do think there's a good chance we do actually push back to the low here. However, we've had a bit of a bounce. Price is looking a little bit bullish, so be careful of that. But this is still looking like a nice place to short oil. And of course, targets back at the low make a load of sense. So yeah, pretty bearish on oil. Would look for at least the push to the upside before looking for entries. If we do go and break structure and take out that high, then maybe oil is going to start to go for a bit of a reversal, maybe back to the highs there as well. Then we can probably start talking about some buys down the 4-hour chart or on the lower time frames as well. That's if we take out the highs. Of course, that hasn't happened yet. So still bearish bias and looking for us to push back into the lows. In terms of the yen pairs, we'll start with euro yen. Pretty sure Blessing requested that. So we'll take a look at euro yen. So yeah, euro yen, very strong move to the upside, really aggressive push there. That's kind of the price action we've seen across the board for the yen pairs, really aggressive movement. I'm still bearish longer term. Again, I've talked about these head and shoulder patterns on the higher time frames, and that is still what I'm looking to trade, really looking to play. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and you've even got your kind of smaller head and shoulder within the head and shoulder, which is quite funny. But overall, very strong sign of a market that's potentially hitting its top. And of course, we've got that neckline of the pattern there. So once this breaks, I do believe the floodgates will open. And you could see a really nice bearish trend there for the yen pairs, or at least euro yen to the downside. So really bearish. The plan is that, okay, we're seeing a bit of a bullish move now. The plan is to try and catch that lower high where it forms and then trade it back into the same support level. Of course, you can very much look to call it a day there. It's a very solid level of support. So looking to hold through that could be a bit costly, but I do have a longer-term bias. So if I do get to some shorts for euro yen, I probably will take most of my profit at the low just because it's such a strong level of support. But I would definitely leave some positions to run. But yeah, euro yen, I was talking about this one yesterday. I mapped out this fib level here. I said if we can pull back into this area between the 0.5 and the 0.618, this is roughly the area I'll be looking to sell from. Got a healthy fib confluence, but also coming back to retest the prior low, which now will be acting as resistance. And you can see we've got the prior low highs here, 1, 2, 3. And this is basically the bearish leg. We're looking for a pullback of too short. So again, similar to pound yen, looking for price to get into that area, start to show some signs and characteristics of a lower high forming. Look for my entries, and then, yeah, targets right back at the low. Risk to reward looks pretty good. Probabilities look good in the higher time frames. I'm expecting a big drop there. So I'm trading the direction of my higher time frame bias, which is always a positive thing. But yeah, euro yen not quite ready yet. There's a lot of bullish momentum on the lower time frames, and we're still seeing that kind of slowly push to the upside right now. So I need price to slow down, start to form some wicks, bearish engulfing candles, double tops even, before I do start to consider some entries. But this is where I'm looking for price to get to, and that is where I'm looking for a lower high to form. It might pull even deeper as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we come a little bit deeper, maybe closer to the 0.786 as well. So I'll keep an eye out for that. But as long as we don't kind of take out this high, that keeps me bearish technically, and we'll be looking for a short. So as long as the pullback doesn't become too aggressive and we don't see some break of structures, looking for a sell here for euro yen right back into that low. So pretty bearish bias there for euro yen. I'll go through the rest of the yen pairs whilst on the topic. Chucks, I will take a look at golds. Let me just get through the yen pairs quickly. Looking for dollar CHF buys, but we have news later. Oh, yes, CPI. I forgot about that, actually. Yep, we do have CPI, so that could be very interesting in the world of USD. So yeah, it depends what you're looking at. If you're going to be in and out the trade before CPI, then you could look to take it. But if you're looking for a slightly bigger target and we're not going to get there before CPI, then maybe it's better to wait after, especially if you can have very small stop losses as well. Do you have a gap on your DXY? Mine filled the gap 7 a.m. this morning. I don't know. I think we did actually. Yeah, the gap there. I assume we're talking about the same gap. Okay, so let me go through the rest of the yen pair. So CHF JPY. Then I'll go through gold and dollar CHF and the DXY. Of course, any other requests, let me know. But yeah, in terms of CHF again, another yen pair, very bullish move the past few hours there. Again, the idea is that we're still looking for more lower highs. You can see the type of market structure we're working with, really clear bearish trend. Equal highs over there, your double top pattern essentially, break of structure, and since then be forming lower lows and lower highs. And it's been a pretty clean trend since then. And even the last bearish leg, really nice drop to the downside, pretty impulsive, and also breaking through some lows there as well. So again, for CHF looking for some shorts here for a push down. I think this one could be a nice entries in terms of the lower time frames. I think 4 hour in terms of euro yen look good, pound yen looks good. I think maybe a bit more intraday hourly chart might get some really nice refined entries here for Swiss yen. Because again, the idea is we're still looking for the pullback of this bearish leg. We've got the 0.5, 0.618 in this zone here, lining up pretty well with that price support level. Strong push to the upside. And of course, we've just got them broken through it and now retesting that zone. So again, looking for some development in this area, but looking for a short right back to where we came from. I do have a very long-term bearish bias here with CHF So I do expect to see a lot more downside with this one in the near future. But yeah, trading into a nice area. So CHF definitely one to keep an eye out. Like I said, I think lower time frames look good for this one. And yeah, if it does play out, you're looking to target back at 166. There's a level of support just below us here, which could be a nice little extended target at 165.286. But more or less expecting a push back into the low, as long as we don't go and break structure here. If we do, then we might see a bigger pullback because we do have this big bearish swing here, which maybe price wants to have a slightly bigger pullback of. We formed a massive high over there, second one there, maybe you put a third one in for a big sell. So if you do take out the highs, maybe we're looking at a slightly bigger pullback than anticipated, but we'll make that call when it happens. For now, still respecting structure. So yeah, still keeping a close eye on some shorts from 168.6. In terms of Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, these guys are just not looking that great, to be honest. We've had some break of structures in terms of the consolidation, but it's lacked momentum. So I haven't really been enthusiastic about looking for any break and retest. This is pretty much the range we've been looking at. We did break to the downside there. I said it wasn't a clean one, didn't really have the momentum I wanted to see. It was very, very corrective. We respected the lows there essentially. And now we're breaking back inside the range. So in all honesty, Aussie yen, not really looking too good. And now it's back in the range. So that's just no man's land for me. So Aussie yen, not interested to touch this one unless, again, we show some confidence with a strong break to the downside. Then I'll look for some pullbacks again. But quite frankly, there are other yen pairs which look a lot better. So I'd rather spend my time there than with Aussie yen. But again, in terms of the bigger move, I'm still looking for a push back into the low here. Just not quite ready yet for me to be looking for entries. In terms of New Zealand yen, again, similar idea, looking for a push back into the low there at 83. This here is our consolidation. And I'm looking for price to, well, essentially retest what price is doing now. But again, the breaker hasn't been as big as I wanted it to. So I wouldn't mind to wait to see if price can drop again. And then I catch the next pullback afterwards. Because at the moment, the pullback is more impulsive than the impulse. So it's not really allowing me to take any opportunities here. Well, I could, but I'll be forcing the trades, not really of high quality. Again, when I'm looking for pullbacks, I want to see price push, pull back, and then push again. And this move should be a lot more impulsive than the correction. Doesn't have to be perfect all the time, but most of the time I do want it to be more impulsive. So no opportunity there on New Zealand yen either. I'll go through CAD yen because I think that's the only yen pair I haven't gone through it. Then I'll go through the yen basket as well. Then we'll take a look at dollar CHF. We'll go through gold as well. Okay, same gap. Leave dollar CHF because CPI, fair enough. Pound CHF buy setting up anyway, so I'll take that instead when it's ready. Okay, we'll go through CHF pairs as well because I do have a position on Aussie CHF. I do have a short position there, which I'll go through in a second. But yeah, New Zealand yen, not too happy with this position either. In terms of CAD yen, again, this was pretty bullish. Pretty bullish yesterday as well. Really strong push for the upside. This one actually came from a pretty nice level of support as well. So Century Price held that support level and rejected it pretty well. You see a lot of consolidation there. Really strong push to the upside. So again, I still do have a bearish bias for CAD Yen, still looking for a lower high to form. As we approach the high here, I may consider looking for entries for this one, but in all honesty, Euro Yen looks a lot better, Pound Yen looks a lot better. So does Dollar Yen, and so does CHF JPY as well. So I'm looking at 4 yen pairs. I think I'll be happy with them and just look for entries. The plan isn't just to find any yen pair and take any trade. The plan is to take good positions, and the setups there are pretty good. So I'll just focus on them. But I do have a bearish bias for CAD yen as well. This one again in the higher time frames is looking like it's formed a massive head and shoulder pattern too. Left head and right shoulder, that being a neckline. And again, I do expect price to break out of that and really have a big sell off. However, it's not as clean as I wanted it to. The pullback hasn't been great, but I am still looking for a bearish move. So I would say if you are looking to short CAD Yen, keep an eye on the high here. That could be a really nice place for a short. And we see the next leg form from that area. Bit of trend line confluence there as well, connecting this high, and potentially the next high. And that could be a really nice short there as well. So I would keep an eye on that for CAD Yen. If I quick look at the yen basket, I assume this had a pretty big move to the downside. Yeah, so really strong rejection off that high. So I was looking for another retest of that trend line. Didn't quite see that just yet, but we are coming to an interesting area here as well. So again, this looks like a really nice place for a buy for the yen basket. Don't have the trend line confluence. That is a strong break of it, but we are retesting that support. Resistance turn support as well. So if you can hold into this could be a great area to send the yen basket back up again. The idea is that we're still consistent with the higher lows. So that is what keeps me bullish there with the yen basket. The moment we do take out some structure here, it gets a little bit more awkward. Again, we still could see a push to the upside. Doesn't necessarily invalidate that whole opportunity, but it means the probability of it happening does decrease, and we might see a much bigger pullback than expected or more complex one. Maybe it forms a bit more of a consolidation. So yeah, not the biggest fan of that move, especially how impulsive it was, but still a nice area of confluence, and so the other yen pairs. So looking for a bounce. Excuse me, I have a bit of a sore throat, so might break out into a bit of a coughing fit during the stream, but hopefully not. Anyway, where were we? So we'll go through gold next. Take a look at the dollar. We'll go through dollar CHF. Like the high quality, I've taken some medium to low quality trades and hearts race it because of the pullbacks. Yeah, I mean, again, you can get trades of low, medium, high quality. I wouldn't say the goal is to only take high quality trades. It depends on the frequency of how many high quality trades you get. For example, if you only get one high quality trade per month, you're taking 12 trades a year, which maybe if you just whack a decent amount of risk on that, maybe it's sufficient. Again, just because it's high quality doesn't mean it will always win as well. There will be some losses there too. But if you can average just between medium quality and high quality, so like good quality, your average trades, you benefit so much more from that. You kind of want to just forget about the low quality positions because, again, you probably still expect profitability from them, but you're going to have a lot more drawdown and they're just a bit more riskier overall. But yeah, it happens. It happens. What's up, Tony Gold? Hope you are doing well. And the USD, I will take a look at. We're going through a bit more USD pairs, so we'll go through that for you. No problem. Yusuf, what's up? I'm doing good. Hope you're well. Please, is trading consolidation in the higher time frame a good idea in the low time frame? Depends how you're looking to trade it. Depends how you're looking to trade it. Any kind of trade idea or scenario could be a great opportunity. Just depends how you trade it. If you're looking to trade a ranging market, the best ways to focus on a ranging market are at the highs of the range or the lows of the range. So if you're looking to trade any range, you want to be positioned roughly around here or roughly around there. Doesn't have to be the exact low, but you want to be buying pretty much as low as you can and selling as high as you can. And in terms of entries, you don't want to be looking for like a bearish engulfing candle on the 5-minute chart to trade a daily range, because that bearish engulfing candle, the 5-minute chart, has pretty much no meaning and no significant meaning to the daily chart. That's going to fail quite a few times before playing out. So if you're going to trade a range, wait for entry signals on the same time frame. That will give you a lot more security in your entries and a lot more safety as well in terms of your stop loss. A lot more security in terms of, did I lock that position accidentally? Yeah. So they give you a lot more security in terms of your stop loss and your entry. But there's nothing wrong with changing range in markets. You just got to position yourself well. If you position yourself in the middle of a range, then you're going to have a hard time. Okay, let's go through gold. So gold's still very bullish on, expecting a lot more upside with this one as well. Looking for a push back to the high at 29.30, 29.40. So that is still very much the idea. Dropping to the hourly chart was still very consistent with the higher lows. As you can see, I've marked them on the chart. Very, very consistent, higher low after higher low. So as you look to get involved with gold, I'll be looking for entries in this area. We're just going to spike through that low. So if you could see some rejection now with gold in terms of a strong bullish engulfing candle, even in terms of a exaggerated wick, that would be nice. But the idea is I want to see some momentum now from this zone, because this is prior resistance. You're expecting it now to hold a support. If it does, there's a good chance a higher low does form and targets back at the high, risk towards pretty much in your favor. And as I said, we've got 29.50 just above us there. 3K is not too far away as well. That could be where gold is heading towards. So still pretty much bullish from gold. I do expect to see a bigger retracement for this one at some point in time. Again, we've been very bullish. We're quite overextended. So the market is going to have that bigger pullback. We don't move in straight lines forever, but I wouldn't go and look to trade that bigger pullback because there's no sign of that happening just yet. Once it does happen, we'll speak about it. Maybe it's back to, maybe price comes back to retest the high or some prior highs down there. We'll speak about that when we see it. But at the moment, still a convincing uptrend. So still expecting a lot more upside. Excuse me. Okay, so let's go take a look at dollar CHF. Okay, so dollar CHF, strong close to the downside. Holy One, you said you're looking to buy. Okay, so you said you'll leave dollar CHF because of CPI. Okay, but you're looking to buy pound CHF, setting up anyway. Okay, we'll go through the CHF pairs. I'm currently short on the Aussie CHF, but we'll go through New Zealand dollar first before I go through the CHF pairs together. Dark Sean confirmation GJ got in, target 40-50 pips. Okay, we'll have a look at that as well. So yeah, dollar CHF, again, overall bias for USD is still bullish. However, dollar CHF is trading at some massive resistance. So from a higher time frame perspective, still a little bit bearish in dollar CHF because of where we're trading. Massive resistance, rejected it once, twice, and a third time. Well, it's in the process of a third time. It could still potentially break out. But it's still struggling at that level. So that's what is keeping me bearish in terms of at least the bigger swing trade. On the 4-hour chart, we did have a bit of a double top last week. Haven't really broken through the neckline of the pattern though. So that's kind of the big green light I'm looking for. If price can break through the neckline of that, that'll tell me that, okay, price is broken structure. Failing to create new highs, at that point, I'll be looking for a lower high and then the continuation to the downside. This could be a lower high that's forming. But equally, we did form a higher low back down here. So the market's starting to squeeze. We got lows here, highs that price is respecting, more lows there, more highs price is respecting. So we're doing something like this, which is a bit more of a wedge pattern. And again, price is going to eventually break out at some point, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. It's difficult to predict because this is starting to look like a big consolidation, really. So, yeah, in terms of dollar CHF, like I said, I'm bearish on this one because of where we're located in the higher time frames, massive weekly resistance. But in terms of clarity, in terms of at least a long-term swing trade, I want price to start breaking through some lows first. That will show to me that, okay, the sellers are finally in control and that I can now be looking for some pullbacks and expecting more downside from them. So yeah, that's really what I'll be looking at for dollar CHF in terms of the shorts. If we are going to buy and break through that weekly zone, then of course I need to see a strong break of the high first, and then there will be some nice opportunities on some pullbacks. Of course, should we see the pullback happen, but that's something I'll be considering for buys. But right now, equal highs, equal lows, prices generally consolidating here. So I'm not trying to find entries in this area here, at least from a swing perspective anyway. But if you commit to the downside, I think shorts look good. Equally, if you commit to the upside, the longs look good as well. So that's really what I'm waiting for now for dollar CHF. In terms of New Zealand dollar, so New Zealand dollar kind of a similar situation as as dollar CHF, which we looked at. In terms of market, that is very flat, expecting a break to the upside because, of course, we're trading at some really powerful levels of support, but haven't really got a buy set up just yet. I will go through US 30 and gold, Alex. I will take a look. Oh, CHF is overall down if you got the will to hold it. Yeah, I know. The annoying thing about Aussie CHF as well is that it's a bit of a slow moving pair. So even if it does play out, it's going to take its time and you're paying negative swaps as well. So that's a bit annoying, I have to admit. But yeah, I've taken the trade, so we'll see how that goes. I'll go through it in a moment. In terms of New Zealand dollar, again, like I said, I'm expecting a bit of a bounce. Now, the overall trend again, or at least the trend for the past few months, is to the downside. So the market is bearish 100%, but I can see that we are starting to plateau a little bit, start to flatten out. So it could be a sign of a market that is maybe forming a temporary bottom for a push to the upside. And again, if that is the case, what I want to see is price breaking through the highs. For the same reason, I want to see dollar CHF break through the lows to show intent in that direction. And then I'm just looking for pullbacks, a break and retest, or a retest of the high there. It really depends on how big the break is and how big the pullback is. But just looking for a break and retest for the buys. If I zoom out to the weekly chart, you see where we're trading, massive support on our left, really big push to the upside. And now there again. So I'm just basically looking for maybe another retracement. The bigger move still might be to the downside, but I'm just looking for a bounce here. So that's my bias on New Zealand dollar. But because it's flat, it's moving sideways, I'm not looking for any entries in that area. If we start breaking above it, great. Then I have some reason to expect more upside because we've broken to the upside. So now looking for pullbacks and then upside and just so on and so forth. And then again, we might hit a brick wall and come back down again, but we'll speak about that when we get to those levels. At the moment, just ranging, don't really have a clear-cut trade opportunity in that zone. In terms of GJ, we'll have a look at Darker Strong's position, then we'll go through dollar dollar US 30, gold, and then we'll go through some CHF pairs as well. So pound yen, 5 minutes. Okay, so you said you entered new short position on GJ, got in, target 40, 50 pips. So how far are you looking? 40, 50 pips. Okay, so somewhere down there-ish. Okay, I see what you're looking at. Again, like I said, in terms of the sell, I'll prefer either price to be at the high of the range, but more so if price actually breaks the neckline first and start looking for some shorts. I understand that price is probably going to go and hit your zone by then, but that's when I'll start to look to take some entries because at least at that point, there's some bearish structure in my favor. So I think the shorts are a little bit more aggressive given the fact how strong the trend is. But if you're looking for shorts in this area, I'd rather look for a close to that high, a bit more of like a textbook head and shoulder pattern. But at least I've got some resistance to protect myself against. But yeah, of course, if you got your confirmations, just hit a level of your liking, then of course see the trade out. But I would like that to move a little bit higher up before shorting, but you're not looking for too much either as well. You usually look for 70 pips, but your target's 40 to 50 this time. So looking for a small move, which I think makes sense given the fact how bullish the market is on the higher time frames. Anyway, let's go for US 30 and gold. What's up, CS Integrated? Hope you're well. Dollar CHF, my weekly MA is still under, not ready to buy. Scratch that then. Okay, fair enough. Higher time frames said otherwise. Okay, so US 30, what have we done? I haven't actually looked at the indices since we last spoke. US 30 just not doing anything for me. I'll be interested with US 30 again once we start breaking through the highs. So I'm not really interested in price until we break out of this range. And yeah, we haven't really moved anywhere. So with US 30, excuse me, voice is playing up. With US 30 still bullish overall, again, for the reasons because of what the higher time frames are doing, which is still very much in a clear uptrend. So that is what's keeping me bullish in terms of my bias. In terms of trading opportunities, there is two that I can see, or two that at least make sense to me. The retest of the low here, we've of course seen this act as really sturdy support previously, once there, twice there. So there's a good chance it could act as support again. Nice place for an entry, nice place for a stop loss. Risk reward looks pretty good back to the high there at least. The second trade, which is probably a bit more of a favorable trade, because if we can break to the high, that shows that, okay, not only is the market bullish again, but there's momentum in the market as well, because at the moment the market is pretty flat. If you can break to the upside confidently, then pullbacks will look good. Perhaps the retest of the high, which will pretty much line up with the retest of that high there as well. And this generally will be a really nice place for a break and retest, just above 45K there. So bullish on US 30. See if we break out, we follow that momentum, or we have a greater pullback. The idea is that I'm still looking for buys for US 30. At the moment, we're trading really just in the middle of that range, which is the worst place for opportunities. And again, not that you won't find a trade in the middle of the range. It's just, on average, statistically, it's just not the best place to take a trade. So yeah, that's kind of my focus there for US 30. In terms of gold, still very bullish on this one, as I just mentioned, looking for more upside. Really nice level that we're coming back to retest, prior resistance across there. Now this level is turned as support. So I would suggest probably looking at this in terms of the hourly chart, or maybe even lower, for some entries. At the moment, still looking pretty bearish, but really nice area of confidence for a buy. Sturdy level of resistance previously will be acting as support there again now. So now is the time that we want to see some wicks forming and some strong bullish engulfing candles. Of course, right now, everything still looks pretty bearish, but things can change pretty quickly. We do have some CPI news later as well, so maybe price is waiting for that potentially. But the idea is that we're looking for price to hold this level. If it starts breaking through, then I'll back off a little bit for gold, because we could see a much bigger move. But if we can hold support level here, I do fancy another swing back to the high at 29.30. It's been such a consistent trend. I'm literally looking for that to continue until it doesn't, and then I'll be looking for that bigger pullback for gold. But at the moment, everything is still very, very bullish. Okay, so I'll go through Aussie CHF. We'll take a look at pound CHF as well. Oh, okay, small targets. You've already made 50 pips profit. Okay, so already sitting in a comfy place, so might as well add to that comfort, I guess. Another 50 pips won't hurt. Yes, I will go through the DXY. CS integrated, no problem. Going a small long at 107.944 since it's holding well on the 4-hour chart. Hold until after CPI and trading stop if bullish. Okay. Nice. Yusuf, yes, I'll go through pound USD as well. No problem, Alex. Happy to help. What's up, Kadam? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing good. So yeah, I will go through those pairs. Let me just go take a look at Aussie CHF. So Aussie CHF, I did enter a position literally just before I got into the stream. I entered a short position right at the high here as price came back within that resistance and also tagged a nice little trend line there as well, connecting the highs there previously. So of course, one over there, there's your swing. Next one over there, there's your swing. I'm looking for the third one. And we pull back into a really healthy fib confluence, spiking to that 0.618 there as well. So overall, looking for a swing to the downside. I'm still pretty bearish in Aussie CHF. The trend is very much down on the higher time frames. I'm liking the short. As I'm looking to see if price can get back into support there. Well, essentially that target low, but at least back into support. I'll be looking for a big swing to the downside for Aussie CHF back into the lows, but we just haven't broken through support yet, so it's kept me out of the market. But now that we pull back into an area where, again, we could be looking at another low high forming and looking to see if I can capitalize on a short from that area back into support, then hopefully look for additional entries whilst we break through and looking for a big swing to the downside. I was looking at New Zealand CHF, but I didn't quite fit the criteria in terms of the entries, so I'm in Aussie CHF instead. So we'll see what happens. Of course, they move pretty similar, so I expect the same thing. Let's see if they're both going to push down or both push up. But in terms of the confluence, really nice area, respected the level very well, strong rejection down the 4-hour chart, and very impressive entry because prices trading at the high. There will be a lot of liquidity above that. Price is just going to take that out, and we've seen a really strong candle back down again. So I'm expecting us to continue back in that path, back into these lows. I'll watch out for that daily support there because we very much could bounce. I might call it close the trade a bit early if things are looking a little bit shaky. But the idea is that I'm looking for trend continuation. Higher time frames are bearish, and I do expect continuation. The only downside about this is that the negative risk, not negative risk reward, a negative swap. So I just hope that we pick up the pace a little bit. Otherwise, it might be a bit of a pain. But yeah, currently short on Aussie CHF. We'll see how this goes. Stop loss above the high there. So if you do go and break the high there, not only breaking resistance, but we're breaking through the trend line as well, it's a point where I don't want to be in the trade anymore. So I will back away. But yeah, we'll see how that position does go. Literally just entered it on that 4-hour candle. So it's still a very early trade, but we'll see how we look to do things. And if things go very well and we do get to the low, I will hold positions to run back into the low here as well. So this is why I like the position, because it has that possibility to be a much bigger position and continue a lot further. If we are going to continue this bearish trend here for Aussie CHF, we very much could get back to the swing low here as well. So that's why I like the swing position, because there's a decent risk reward into my initial target, but I can very much increase that if things do look well. So if there's a lot of momentum, break the low as well, I will look to hold positions to run. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But of course, that's a big contrast to my pound USD position, which is much more of a shorter term trade, because I don't really have much expectation for price to continue. Pound USD is just very much a reaction at a low, trying to anticipate another high low forming and see if you can ride it back into the high there and then call it a day. I don't have any extended targets. I'll close a position. I don't think I'll even look to trail there as well. So that'll be the plan with that position. Anyway, I'll go through DXY for CS integrated. We'll go through pound USD as well. Excuse me. I took the New Zealand CHF trade. Okay, so I got into Aussie CHF and then you got to New Zealand CHF. So pretty much trading the same idea, really. Aussie, New Zealand, very similar pairs. So it's either both oppositions are going to play out or both will fail. But I was looking at New Zealand CHF as well this morning. But Aussie CHF, because of the fake of the high, I like that trade a little bit better. But they'll do the same thing. They'll do the same thing. But I will go through New Zealand CHF for you as well. First, let me go through the DXY. So yeah, DXY, I do actually have a shorter term bearish view for the DXY. Again, longer term, as I've been saying, the trend is still very much up. This is still very much our swing low, which gave us the swing high. So this is still a very, very important low, which price hasn't broken through yet, which is still keeping me bullish. We still could, correct within this and then continue. This might just be a really big bull flag, which price ends up continuing to the upside. So the overall bias for me for dollar is still up until this low goes, or until we start to form successive lower highs. So the overall bias is still bullish. However, because of the price action and how he developed here, I do expect to see a bit of a move to the downside. Hence why I'm also buying pound USD as well. So I do expect to see dollar take a bit of a dive, and I expect that to help out my pound USD position to the upside. But as I've been saying since we had this big drop from last week, really strong move to the upside, lower high formed in comparison to that prior high, really strong moves to the downside. This to me looks like a correction, so like a bear flag pattern. We came back to retest this area here on the left, and now I'm looking for a push back into this low. So that's really what I'm looking at for the dollar. Bit more of a shorter term move. The bigger move, as I said, could still very much be to the upside. Hence why I'm not looking for anything, any extended targets, any bigger targets. This is just a trade for that kind of window, intra-week, if you will. So yeah, I do have a bit of a bearish bias for the USD. See it's integrated. Understand that you're in a long position from. Let me just clear the chart. In a long position from this support here, 107.944. So that's roughly around here. So yeah, I mean, price is dancing at that support level. We could be forming a higher low. There is that possibility because, of course, we got a low here. Price is pushed up. Another higher low there. Price is pushed up. Could be another higher low for price to push up as well. That is definitely a very strong possibility. Again, I do have a bearish bias, but I'm not blind to see the bullish opportunities as well. So yeah, it's a nice area for a buy. I would imagine your stop loss is probably underneath the low 107.6. So your stop loss is there. So plenty of room with the stop loss as well. So yeah, I like the position for a buy, even though I'm kind of bearish for this kind of time period. I actually like the position for a buy. It's in a healthy area, and stop losses in a healthy area as well, giving yourself enough room for price to snap bullish. We could see CPI come through and price take a big turnaround there as well. So yeah, that is a nice smart area for a buy. Again, if you're looking to try and take buys or sells, the question you want to be asking yourself: are you entering in smart locations? Not necessarily is your bias correct, because you can still have an incorrect bias but still make money just because of your entries are in smart locations and your stop loss is in smart location as well. And that is definitely the case here. But as I said, I do expect to see more downside simply because I'm expecting this impulsive move, and this is the correction of that move. That's why I do expect more downside. But we'll see what happens, see how the price develops. Of course, I could be wrong as well. So there is that possibility, but we'll see if price can respect lows there. Either which way, I still do expect more upside longer term, whether we're going to push from here or push the down first. We'll see what the dollar does, give us. I'll go through pound USD next, and then I think I'll just go through the rest of the CHF pairs. 4 hour time frame. I'll go through pound USD. Then I'll take a look at New Zealand CHF. So yeah, pound USD, as I said, I am currently long on this one. I did enter this setup after the stream yesterday. So yeah, that closed at 2 p.m. So again, price respected the higher lows very well. We had 1, 2, 3 over there. Price came back from that little double bottom here. So we had some price support. Price kind of faked the lows, strong close above, really nice shift of momentum. So that's kind of what was the cherry on the cake there. And yeah, I'm looking for a pushback to the high. Now, again, my bias for the DXY kind of goes in sync with this. I'm looking for a shorter term sell for the dollar. Hence why I do expect to see pound USD push up, but that's not the reason why I entered the trade. And I'm a technical trader. The technicals have to look good first. If the DXY is also adding confluence, that's great as well. But the idea is that we came into a really healthy area for a higher low, respect to support, respect to the trend line. It was a healthy retracement in the fib as well, and a really strong shift of momentum after those wicks there on the 4-hour chart. So that's why I got into the position. And in terms of targets, I'm just looking to swing it back to the high. I don't have an extended target because the trend is still very much bearish for pound USD. We are still seeing, very strong lower lows and lower highs. So actually with pound, I'm actually looking for a sell, to be honest. If price can get back to the high, where my target is, and things look good, I see a decent rejection at the high, I actually will be looking to find some shorts here to see if I can take it back down again, because there's no sign of a break of structure yet with pound. This is still the last major lower high in the market, which gave us this low. So this, technically speaking, is that's an awful line. Technically speaking, price has to break through that high first before I contemplate a bigger reversal and look for any longer term buys. So yeah, I mean, if I draw a fib from the high to the low here, we're only just coming into the 50, coming into the 0.618. So this is still a healthy pullback of that bearish move. The trade I'm in is very much counter trend and very much taking advantage of some short-term bullish momentum. Who knows? Maybe it does turn into a reversal. We'll have to wait and see. But I am looking for some shorts back at the high here, to be honest. If I do see a good enough rejection, I will look for some entries there as well. And targets will be right back down at the low there at 1.21. So that would be the idea there with pound USD. So temporary buys, potentially some long-term shorts there. And we'll see where we can go. But that's what my sell idea will look like if it does set up. And again, risk reward looks really, really good as well. No problem. CS Integrated, happy to help. GU on your H4 strong buy at the minute, great area. Okay. Yeah, but your longer term view is still bearish as well, 31, which is kind of how I'm looking at pound USD as well. Shorter term buy for a longer term sell, as long as we can respect those levels. In terms of New Zealand CHF, so as I said, I was actually contemplating entering this position earlier, not earlier today. Well, technically earlier today, just at the same time I entered my Aussie CHF position. Again, very, very similar pairs. Similar entry signals as well. If I go to Aussie CHF, strong bearish engulfing candle there to the downside. Go to New Zealand CHF, pretty much the exact same thing there as well. Strong bearish engulfing. The only reason why I chose Aussie CHF over New Zealand CHF was the fact that Aussie CHF managed to fake the high and then came back down very strongly. So I know that any price stops just above the high here are gone. And now we're seeing the momentum come back in. So that's why I liked Aussie CHF more than New Zealand CHF. As you can actually type in New Zealand CHF again, go to Aussie CHF, as you can see, we broke through the high there. So that's why I like this position. But of course, in terms of the correlation between the two, they'll do the same thing, really. So it's not too important, but because of those technicals, I'm always going to take that trade at the end of the day. But again, New Zealand CHF came back into a really nice area. The idea is that we're still looking for lower highs as we slowly continue on this descent. It's come back into a really nice structure there, strong rejection, looking for a push back into the low here, and eventually a push back into the low there as well. So the bias remains very bearish here for New Zealand CHF as well. And it was a nice short this morning. I just decided to take Aussie CHF instead, but I expect both of them to play out or both of them to fail as well. So that's very much the outlook. We just missed the retest of this level as well, which would have been nice. So we got some support there on the daily chart. I was mentioning this level earlier in the week. It would have been nice to see price come back to retest that low there as well. As you can see, we just missed it. So if we did get that fake out, that'd be a very nice confluence. Now, I definitely would have took New Zealand CHF at that point. So if we did get the fake of the high, the retest of the daily level, that would be a really nice confluence for the position. And yeah, we'll be looking for a big swing back into the lows there as well. So pretty bearish on New Zealand CHF too. Expecting a swing back into the low. Your entry is 0.51704. 51704. Okay, so you got in right at the high. Really nice entry. Stop loss 0.51341. 51341. Wait. Oh, take profit, sorry. Take profit 51341. 51341. 851341. Have we hit that? Yeah, we've hit the target, haven't we? 51341. Unless I'm blind. Yeah, we've hit your take profit. Okay, yeah, take profit hit. Okay. So have you exited the trade then? Can we expect to pull back to see further continuation downside? I wouldn't really look for pullbacks now, to be honest. It's a bit of an awkward area for a pullback. Um, it's a bit of an awkward it's a bit of an awkward area for pullback because we're kind of in the middle. Oh, okay. So you taking profits, but the rest is running. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit of an awkward area for pullback because if you look at what New Zealand CHF is doing, it is pretty much moving sideways. Again, we're treating this as a pullback for for some more downside eventually. So the idea of us shorting up here is that we're looking to catch the high of the pullback. So if you take any entries here, we see some nice downside, which we have done. Well, that's a very nice location to hold for potentially a big swing or wherever your targets wants to be. Entering kind of any pullbacks in the middle of the range is always just a very tricky prospect because your stop loss is vulnerable. Your entry is not particularly in a healthy area. For example, let's say if we do get a pullback, let me drop to the hourly chart. Let's say if we do get a pullback like so, and you get some shorts there. Okay, that could be a nice trade, which could end up being a really nice trade. It can, it tanks potentially, but your stop loss is always in a vulnerable place, and price could very much go and take that stop loss out, mess around, and push down. If your stop loss is above the highs here, of course, you're not immune to getting stopped out either, but it's just very much in a safer place. Price has to work a little bit harder to go and take your stop loss. So in terms of pullbacks, yes, we could see pullbacks more downside, but because it's so corrective and so choppy, I would avoid looking for pullbacks inside that area. If it was a bit cleaner, yes, but it's just consolidation. It's choppy. You can see our price is moving. This is not an area which you want to be looking for pullbacks in. You want to be looking to try and catch the highs at the top here, which you have done, and that looks like a phenomenal trade. You book some profits, remove risk. Let's see how far we can take it. But prices hit your target, so it's done your job. So I'd probably say lock in a bit more gains just so you don't leave so much on the table. But yeah, I would say hold some positions to run. I think there's a good chance we get to the low if the trend does continue. If not, you still walk away for profit. But yeah, I just don't like pullbacks inside a range. It's just doesn't make sense logically. Of course, you could still find a nice pullback. It could be a great trade. Exceptions don't disprove the rule, but on average, it's not a great location to be looking for pullbacks. But I'm very bearish, and I do expect more downside. Yes, Holy One, of course. Excuse me. Ooh. That's not great. Okay, so we'll go through the rest of the CHF pairs. No problem, Kedam. Happy to help. We'll go through the rest of the CHF pairs. And we'll go through some of the crosses and the CAD pairs. I haven't actually mentioned them yet as well. Could go through some of the other indices too. Haven't looked at S&P or NAS. Haven't seen what's happening with those guys recently. But there's some big news today, so I'm expecting some fireworks. I mean, pound USD are not break even at the moment either. So to be honest, the risk is still on the table. The CPI could go for me, could go against me. But I'm happy with the risk. I haven't bet my whole account on the position. Worst case scenario, price turns around, tilts me out for a loss. Of course, CPI probably will affect Aussie CHF as well, but not to a big degree. And I don't think it's going to be that vulnerable, especially with the size of stop loss I have. So I won't be too worried about that. Open-minded coding, what's up? Um, no bank's going to offer a business banking tips and advice. Yeah, try Monzo. Try Monzo. There's a few banks you could look at, but Monzo is a good one to look at. Tide is a good one to look at as well. Um, some of the bigger mainstream ones are a bit more difficult, but Monzo, Tide, good ones to look at. Are you based in the UK? I think you are. Yeah, £6. So yeah, try Monzo and Tide. Anthony, what is up? Good morning. Good morning. Everyone looking for sales on NAS and S&P. Everyone looking for sales, and who's everyone? Oh no, you're saying good morning, Miko, and everyone. I thought you said everyone is looking for sales for NAS and S&P. Yeah, good morning to you too. Okay, we'll take a look at NAS and S&P. I read you wrong. Apologies. Yeah, but yeah. Check out Monzo and check out Tide. Okay, so I said I was gonna go through some CHF pairs first. So I'll go through them quickly, then I'll take a look at S&P and NAS. So we did Aussie CHF, New Zealand CHF, pound CHF. We'll take a look at. We'll go through CAD and Euro. To be honest, pound CHF is still consolidating, so I'm really not interested in price action here. To be honest, until we get a breakout, even if it's to the upside, which I'm not really looking for. But if it even is to the upside, then something interesting could happen because we could see some nice breakouts, nice pullbacks, and a retest of the zone, and there could be some really nice buys because this has been a consolidation that has lasted quite a while now. So I do think we're probably going to see a pretty clean breakout. Of course, which direction, I have no idea. I am looking for a push to the downside. That's my bias, that's my analysis. But of course, in terms of which way we actually break out, we have to wait and see. But this is really the move that I'm looking for pound CHF because I'm looking at basically we've got a massive drop there, massive impulse. I'm looking at this as a correction for another impulse to the downside. So I want to see price break to the downside, get some pullbacks so I can short it back into the low. So that's what I'm looking for on pound CHF. But of course, we're nowhere near that. And maybe we do see price break to the upside. So there could be some nice buys in the retest. Again, nothing I'm really interested in. Maybe I might look to take a buy if it looks really good. But I would be careful as we do approach some areas here on the left because we could very much form a lower high at any point to come back down again. So I would worry about that, which is why I do want to take some shorts because I'll be expecting price to head back to that low there at 1.08. So that's why I'm pretty bearish on pound CHF. At the moment, still trapped in the range. I suppose if you're looking to short, it's not a bad time, to be honest. Looking to try and catch the high of the range, stops. Probably would try and get it above the high here just to make sure my stop's in the safe place and give myself enough room to really catch the move. But at the high of the range right now, the price is going to hold this level. It's a great place to short from. And your targets, you can either look at the 50% of the range, which is more or less around here. So that could be a nice initial target. Then secondary targets back at the low of the range. And that makes a lot of sense to me. So that's the idea behind pound CHF. In terms of Euro CHF, we'll take a look at next. Pound USD seems bullish now. Yeah, it does look pretty. At least the intraday, I'm not saying pound USD is bullish overall. I still think it's actually pretty bearish overall. But intraday, we're seeing a lot of momentum there as well. On the time they do have limitation in terms of how much you can be deposited. Yeah, true. Yeah, look into them because you should be able to open accounts with them. Because of course, Forex is just a bit of a trading in general is a bit of a sticky kind of topic, especially for UK banks as well. So you should be able to open at least a bank. You can open 2 bank accounts with them as well. So yeah, definitely look into them. USD CAD, yes, Anthony will take a look as well. I'll just go through your NAS and S&P. Close the AJ and wait for the H4 move indicator curling bit. Okay. And you see how the yen pairs are doing. Are they still looking very bullish, or are they slowing down? Because I'm still looking to short those guys. Anyway, Euro CHF. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because I do not like the price action whatsoever. I mean, overall, the higher time frames I don't mind. You know, I'm kind of looking at a longer term bearish channel here. So I do think there's a possibility for something like this, but I need to see some clarity in terms of the bullish trend again, some higher highs, higher lows, before I do start to look for some pullbacks, really. So that's really what I'm kind of waiting for Euro CHF, and we're nowhere close to forming that. So we'll take some time there, but that's kind of what I'm generally looking for. But right now, nothing at all. And CAD CHF is another one that is just ranging, to be honest. So waiting for price to just commit outside the consolidation, really, and we're taking our sweet time for that. We did technically see a bit of a close to the upside yesterday, which is nice, but we're still kind of trading within that last fake out, in which we did close above as well, but we closed straight back below the following day. Who knows, we might see that happen again. So I want to see price really push away from all of the noise, really commit to the upside. Then I'll be looking for pullbacks. And again, if I zoom out, I'm looking for a pretty meaningful move to the upside for CAD CHF. This again is our bearish channel. Price has been trading in equal highs, equal lows. I'm looking for us to come back to the higher end of the range. So, I don't mind about waiting for a bigger breakout because I'm looking for a bigger move. I'm not looking to hold it just for a day. It could last a few days. So bullish from CAD CHF actually, although I'm looking to short Aussie CHF and New Zealand CHF, but I'm bullish on this one. And we'll see if we do get that breakout. Otherwise, we might actually sell off back down again, which is just something I'm not really interested in at all. No problem. Happy to help. So we'll take a look at NAS and S&P. And then we'll go through dollar CAD as well. So with NAS 100, I am looking at more upside as well, but this one's just been stuck in its consolidation. So it's been difficult to really find any good opportunities. As you can see, very tightly knit range here. This is my drawings from yesterday. And as you can see, all I was referring to was either we get the breakout, look for some pullbacks and find some more upside, or we find a deeper pullback anyway, come back to retest below that 2800 and find some buys there. So we're either looking for the breaking test of the range for momentum to continue, or just buy at the low of the range and anticipate that continuation. The overall trend for NAS is very much bullish, as we can see, as it will be for S&P as well. So as a swing trader, just predominantly looking for buys until there's a clear sign we're in a bearish market, which we're not. We haven't been in a bearish market since 2022 with these low lows and low highs here. Since the low of December 22, the price has just been trending to the upside very, very well. So it's a bullish market, still looking for buys, and see if we get the break and retest, or we find some longs right at the low. I would just advise not to trade within the range here. That's where you're going to get the maximum chaos, the maximum fluctuation, and you're going to get your stop loss triggered a lot more. And if it's down at the lows here, of course, it's not immune to it, as I keep saying. But the benefit of this, if you do get stopped out, you can always just get back in. You run the risk of taking numerous stops out in the middle before actually you're taking the winning position. By that case, the risk reward might not even make up for the previous losses. Anyway, in terms of S&P, pretty much the same idea. Actually, I prefer NAS because it's a cleaner consolidation. S&P, we're actually forming some lower highs here, which is a little bit worrying. If price can break out of that, great. Then the next pullback will look good, and then some more upsides. Maybe the retest of a high or retest of a high there. Of course, we'll judge that closer to when the setup is actually forming. But the idea is that we're looking for more upside as well for S&P. If I zoom out, you can see the same story. Very bullish market. Haven't even been in a bearish market since 2022, and the trend is still very much up. So still looking to buy until proven otherwise, really. Right now, the market is a little bit flat. Probably just draw a box around price and just call that a range, really. And yeah, that's kind of what price is doing. But if we can break to the upside, that would be great. Look for some pullbacks, and again, more upside expected. I would suggest as well, keep an eye for the buys down here. I think that could still be a nice opportunity for a buy around 59.25. So if we don't see that break in continuation, let's say we do form another lower high and we do push down, that could look like a nice entry as well. Decent place for a stop loss and a nice place to go long. Yeah. I would be waiting for a deeper pullback as well. So either we get a deeper pullback or we just break the highs and look for pullbacks afterwards. But both S&P, US 30, actually all three of them, S&P are just at kind of annoying places to buy. I wouldn't be looking to buy. If anything, they're actually not bad places to sell. For example, S&P right now back at supply, with these prior lower highs on the left. If I just remove my squiggly lines there, price is actually forming lower highs here. So if anything, it's actually not a bad sell. I know it's counter trend, but this is bearish territory, and we could see a bit of a reaction there to the downside. NAS 100 at bearish territory as well. I'm pretty sure, more or less at the high of the range. We could sell off from here. US 30, I don't think it's that bearish territory, is it? A little bit on the lower time frames, coming back into this area. Strong push to the downside, testing that area again. Might see a bit of a sell there as well. So on an intraday level, some shorts do look good, but just I'm more of a buyer here because that's where the higher time frame trends flowing. Nothing wrong about those shorter term short opportunities. They do look good, but I'd rather be focused on the buy since that's where the higher time frames are pointed in, especially in a market like the indices. It's not like FX where we're kind of just all over the place. Anyway, but that's my outlook for those pairs. In terms of USD CAD, by the way, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams uploads in the future. I do really appreciate everyone who has liked the stream so far. It does help the channel grow. So I do really appreciate it. And if you're having a good time, might as well drop a like as well and subscribe. But dollar CAD pretty bearish as well. Take the S&P sell. Nah, I'm not taking the sell, mate. I'm not taking the sell. I'm not going to walk the walk that time. It looks like a nice short, but I'm not going to walk the walk there. I'll talk the talk, but not walk the walk. When I do walk the walk, it's because there's a good trade that fits the plan well for me. And S&P, not a market that I trade firstly, well, at least not a market I trade yet. And secondly, I'm just not really interested in the sells there with S&P, at least from the indices anyway. I'd rather just focus with the longs there. But yeah, with dollar CAD, I like the sells with this one as well. Just that support right now, and we've been dancing at the support for a while. I remember a couple of weeks ago, was it? Yeah, 5th of Feb. What was that last week? That was last week. So not a couple of weeks ago, a week. But we're still at very strong support. I'm expecting to see a lot more downside here as well. Again, I talked about this massive anticlimactic move to the upside. Of course, we had that big gap to the upside, but price just filled that pretty much instantly and did it with a lot of momentum as well. And because we're coming from such a big level in the weekly chart, it does lead me to believe that we have a good possibility to expect more downside. And I'm looking to see if we can come back and retest this zone down here around 1.4. So massive resistance here on the weekly chart. We're there again, really big rejection, drop to the 4-hour chart. We had a lovely ranging market here, which I know would have done a few people very dirty with this gap to the upside. And then we came straight back down. So that's kind of flushed all that liquidity to the upside. Now we have the possibility to see that continuation. So as I said, with dollar CAD, either we get the bigger pullback to the high of the range, and we look for some shorts up at the high, or we wait for price to break the low of the range and then look for pullbacks there, and then again expecting another move to the downside. But either which way, looking for some shorts and looking for a decent amount of mileage as well, that to 1.4. So being patient with that one. We've got CPI coming this afternoon. Maybe that's going to be the catalyst. I thought it was going to be NFP last week, but NFP didn't really do too much, to be honest. We had a CAD unemployment rate and NFP. I thought we were going to get the breakout. We didn't. Maybe CPI will do the honors. So waiting to see what happens with that. But in terms of my bias, that's already locked in. So I already know what I'm looking to do. Just need to wait for the opportunity to actually present itself. So yeah, that's really what I'm looking to do there with dollar CAD. Anton, 1.429 to 1.423. Are you talking about dollar CAD there? 1.429, which is that there, which is pretty much where price is trading, to 1.423, which is around here. So you're looking for a bearish move there. Descending dollar CAD, I agree. I'm pretty bearish with dollar CAD as well. Yeah, dollar CAD bounced around so much. I closed with £10 profit. It was very tiring. Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah, holding position whilst we're moving sideways is it's not a fun thing to do, especially if you're paying negative swap. That just makes everything a lot worse. Positive swap, I can hold, but it's still annoying as well because it's not like the positive swap is a lot of money. It's normally very small, so yeah, it's not really worth it anyway to hold through positive swap either. So yeah, it is annoying. But if it does break, because we have been consolidating for a while for dollar CAD, expecting momentum, expecting a healthy move, probably similar to the move we got up here. We could probably see something similar on the way down. So I think that could lead to a really nice opportunity here with dollar CAD. We just need that breakout really, and as I said, hopefully it comes today. No problem, Anthony. Happy to help. What's up? Follow the trend. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing good. So yeah, in terms of what I'm looking at for the rest of the week, so of course I'm going to manage both my positions. Aussie CHF, which I just entered this morning, pretty much still at entry price, so really nothing to do. Long way to go for this one. I mean, that's my extended target, but the real target is the low here. I'll probably lock in most of my gains there and leave some positions to trail. So that's the move I'm looking for. I've got a 51 pip stop loss for a 148 pip target, which is not bad for Aussie CHF. We'll see how that goes. And of course, pound USD, which I entered yesterday, which is moving okay. Still seeing some nice momentum. We're in a bit of a dodgy area right now, but things are looking good. I'm still pretty bearish on USD for at least the next maybe day or two. Of course, CPI could throw that out the window completely. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that this afternoon, but I am pretty bullish on pound USD. Stop loss is not at break even. Stop loss is still down at that low, so the risk is still on the table. I'm not looking for a big trade. You can see the risk reward 1.9 there, so it's not really a big trade. The idea of the trade is a bit more of a shorter term play, and I'm still very much keeping an eye on these sells. Really, that's still kind of the bigger trade I'm looking at. We're still forming these lower highs here for pound, so I'm actually still very much focused on the shorts, but I'm looking to play the longs. As we push up. So I'm going to manage those two positions. If we do get to the highs this week, then I will probably look for actually some shorts for pound USD. So I'll add that to the watch list. Dollar CAD is something I'm looking closely as well. So hopefully that can get the breakout this week as well. Looking for some shorts for that one. That's pretty it for the USD pairs. Yeah, the rest are consolidating or just in weird areas right now. So not really looking to trade them. Yen pairs have a lot of my attention, to be honest, really. Those are really the pairs I'm looking to take some trades if I do take any more positions. Nothing's quite set up yet, but they're trading some interesting areas, or they're just shy of some interesting areas. So Euro Yen, for example, these are two zones I'm looking at, 160, 161.5. Looking for another lower high in this area for a push back down into the lows. So keeping a very close eye on that. Potentially next couple of days could be some entries. Dollar Yen, another one I'm keeping a close eye on as well. This one is trading in an area. I do want a bit more development before I do find any entries, but I'm going to keep a close eye on this one for a push back into the low. Pound Yen coming into an area as well. We've broken through the first area I was looking to trade from, but because it's been so bullish, especially last 4-hour candle, or not the last one, about 2, 3, 4-hour candles ago, Really strong close to the upside. So I'm looking for a bit more of a pullback now for pound yen, preferably into the 192.5 area. Then from there, expecting a similar move back into the lows. And Swiss yen as well. I think this is a nice one for the hourly chart. We can see some development here, probably in the hourly time frame. That could be a really nice trade, decent risk reward, back into the low, pretty clean and clear bearish trend we've got here for Swiss yen. So just naturally looking for that to continue really. So the yen pairs have a lot of my focus, to be honest. So there's no other markets I'm looking at. CAD pairs not really doing much for me, to be honest. Aussie CAD, it's very, very choppy, to be honest. New Zealand CAD, very choppy too. I mean, I do expect to push to the lows here, but I'm just not seeing an opportunity to trade it. I think I missed the trade when we formed the gap there from last week. Difficult to take the trade anyway, but it was a big gap in price from that big double top there. So that kind of was the opportunity. EuroCAD, not really interested in this one either, at least not on the 4-hour chart. Pound CAD, likewise, not really interested in the 4-hour chart either. Crosses, not really interested there either. I mean, I was looking at Euro Aussie for that break and retest, but we've had a very impulsive pullback, very impulsive bullish move, which make things very awkward for the short. In fact, if you do see another conflict candle closure above the level, I'm no longer looking to short. That looks like a big fake out to me. I'll be expecting a big swing to the upside at that point. So no longer as interested as I was at the start of the week for Euro Aussie. And yeah, and the CHF pairs, I'm trading on the CHF at the moment. So that's really what my attention is now. Just manage the positions and focus on the yen pairs. Perhaps there might be some shorts before the end of the week. So yeah. GU just tanked 142 pips. Funny man, Holy One, funny man. Trying to scare me there. Luckily, I was just going through pound USD, so I'm composed. Can we see both gold and silver potential longs? Also, GJ sells 191.5 reaching. Okay, I'll go through those markets quickly. Yeah, exactly. I just went through the charts. Thing is, a few people have actually done that before. A few people have done that. So I'm catching on right now. So if they say the move's a bit too exaggerated, and I know they're trying to get under my skin. But I have been fooled a few times though. Anyway, so yeah, in terms of gold, yeah, gold I'm pretty bullish. So looking for entries at this level. I think this is a nice trade for the hourly chart. 4-hour, the risk reward probably won't look that great, but hourly chart, really nice level resistance. Simply just looking for buys here. So the idea is looking good. I just need to see a solid candle closure in terms of momentum, so like a bullish engulfing candle. I don't want to see price break below. Of course, with the CPI announcement in the next hour and a half, you probably want to enter after the CPI. I don't think it's a smart decision to wait to enter before, just because you're probably going to see some wicks and you want to get your stop loss below a wick rather than the wick taking your stop loss. So I'd advise to wait for the CPI to come out, but there could be some nice re-entries shortly afterwards. Silver, same situation as well. However, I'm looking for a slightly deeper pullback for silver. I've got a nice little level underneath us there. I didn't like the wick rejection we got on Friday last week. It was very, very awkward, really strong rejection. Looks like a big double top there. So I'm looking for silver to pull back a little bit. I think silver's kind of a bit stuck here between that high. So it's kind of struggling a little bit. So I want it to push down a little bit deeper, find some buys a closer, find some buyers further down. Maybe some sellers can start taking their profit, and then that could help us actually see the continuation we're looking for. But really nice confluence here, lovely trend line, connecting the higher lows and coming back to retest that prior high there, which should be turn support. But of course, need to wait for entry signals, not looking to buy as soon as we get there. Need to see some sturdy rejections before finding some entries. Then in terms of targets, back to where we came from, 32.59. And if everything goes well, can leave some positions to run all the way to the high there at 34.85. So really like silver, really like gold, both very bullish on them. Silver looking for a slightly deeper correction gold testing a nice area. So we'll see how that translates for the CPI, whether we still respect it or we don't. It would be nice maybe if CPI could give us a move to the downside for silver, actually, and then we could find some buys later on. But either which way, as long as we don't break out this confluence, so we don't see something like this happen, I remain bullish on silver. If we do, things get awkward. So yeah, that's the outlook for silver. And you also mentioned GJ. So yeah, pound yen sells. I like pound yen as well. I'm looking for shorts around 192.5, 193-ish. That's kind of the area I'm looking at. I originally had the zone here, which I was looking to short from, but of course, prices obliterated that zone like it was nothing. So no entry signal, no sign of rejection. And quite frankly, I was actually asleep during those times, to be honest. So I wasn't even awake to take a trade if there was one. But we've broken through that. So the next day I'm looking at is this supply area there, strong push to the downside, looking to see what we can do at that high. But as long as GJ doesn't break through this swing point here, that high, I remain bearish, looking for the next one somewhere and drop back into the low. So pretty bearish there for pound yen as well. You got 3.4 confirmation of the pound CHF instead of 4. You got 3.4 or 3 out of 4. So I'm currently blue. Okay, so you're in the trade then. That's interesting. Getting 3.4 confirmations. That's a very kind of detailed analysis of your confirmations there, everyone. But yeah, guys, we have come up to the end of the stream, so I will keep an eye on yen. Like I said, that's really one of my focuses right now, shorting the yen pair. So keeping an eye on pound yen, euro yen, dollar yen. Not really so focused on CAD yen and Swiss yen. Those are the ones I like. Aussie yen and New Zealand yen don't look great either, at least for my analysis anyway. So that's what my focus will be. Piece between dollar yen is going up, and pair again, the dollar is going up. Confused to what that point was. I mean, the dollar's going up because at the moment USD is a bit stronger than the yen. That's essentially the reason why. In terms of specifics, I've only got a limited amount of information. So dollar yen's going up because USD is a bit stronger than the yen. That's all I can really tell you, to be honest. Yeah, which is not a lot of information, but that's essentially it. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. But yeah, guys, appreciate you tuning in. If you have enjoyed the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell if you don't want to miss out on any streams or uploads in the future, so you are notified, of course. Check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below and also at the top of the chat. You can chat with other traders, chat with myself. I share ideas that I'm looking at, and of course, you can do as well. And of course, you can find a bit more information about Elevating Traders there if you're looking to find out some more. But guys, really appreciate it. I will be live again tomorrow, as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So if you're free, tune in, say hi, and that is 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time, by the way. So say hi, tune in. But guys, appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.